The journey of knowing thyself begins in the cradle and ends in the grave. One way to capture those moments of ourself can be found in the shelf. Shelves have been around since the creation of ancient scrolls. My name is Dr. Walter Hidalgo, and I'm a father, teacher, world traveler, and coach. Join me as we explore together the stories of our shelves. This is Know Thy Shelf. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Peace, 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 beautiful family. This is Dr. Walter Hidalgo, and this is episode number 17, and this is the Know Thy Shelf podcast. And once again, I am extremely humbled and grateful to be here with y'all. The Know Thy Shelf podcast uses the metaphor of the shelf to extrapolate the self. And given the circumstances that we are in, I made the decision to jump right in because it is essential right now, more than ever, as we all quarantine, that we begin this journey of our shelves. I want to give a shout out today because that's kind of part of the agenda, if you will, of the Know Thy Shelf podcast is, we like to shout somebody out there, because as the saying goes in the culture nowadays, let's give flowers while people are still alive, So the flowers I want to give out today is to the DJs, yo. Shout out to the DJs, yo. Y'all really changed my life. You shaped and changed so many people's lives. And I particularly want to highlight the battles that have been circulating through social media. And the one that caught my attention was the joint with RZA and versus DJ Premier. And just listening to it and just the the mix and the discography that comes out of those two gentlemen is just amazing. The nostalgia, the energy, the spirituality that's associated with music and that culture. Shout out to hip hop, and it's a beautiful thing. So shout out to the RZA, as I will say since the first time I saw them, and so many will resonate. Wu-Tang forever, right? And shout out to DJ Premier, legend. Speaking of music, I want to, continue what I did with our previous podcast, and that is to continue to provide tips for both the parent and the teacher, or just since we're all at home now, just providing little tidbits, little tips that you can do at home, and that's mind, body, and soul, right? So I did this video and I posted it, and it's basically me using a stack of books. I placed it on the floor, and then I did a decline push-up, and I placed one hand on the stack of books. It was pretty high up. I think I used probably maybe 12, 15 books. And then I was doing a push-up, but using only one hand, and then I rotated and I used the other. And, just combining the idea that, hey, let's utilize this time to be creative, right? That's what we spoke about in the last episode called Create. Check it out. And that was me being creative and reminding y'all, don't forget to read and literally use knowledge to push you up. Literally and figuratively, push up. Use it to do a push-up, right? And elevate your conscious. So that's a quick activity that you can do at home. Another one related to exercise is I'm pulling up this chart right here that was sent to me, which I really feel you can be creative with it, and also it's for mind, body, and soul if you really think about it. But if you see this, it's letters and it's associated with an exercise. So it's something that you can print out or duplicate yourself, write it in a piece of paper, and change up the rules. But every day you can wake up with your child, your student, your partner, significant other, friend, family, and just pick a word of the day, reflect on it, and start with love, and do love, and reflect and meditate on love, and then do the exercise portion of it using this chart right here. I really thought that was dope. So I want to get right into it, family. Like I said, I'm really, again, I don't want to do the whole virtual Zoom or Skype situation. I really am waiting, God willing, and inshallah, as they say, when this is all over, I really want that face-to-face contact with my guests, and I really believe that's what's going to make this special, more special. It's already special. It's already beautiful. So I'm going to wait on bringing guests, so I want to keep this really short and sweet, but make it digestible for you so you can utilize it. Something out of the shelf, the metaphor of the shelf, particularly the shelf of my own shelf, if you will, or myself, where I too, even with inviting guests, I would like to share some of my own journey with you, in hopes that as father, teacher, coach, and world traveler that I am, that I can use some of that experience and knowledge and wisdom and understand, and you yourself can utilize it at home, especially now with everything that's happening, right? So I want to pull out of the shelf. Some of y'all may have it, some of y'all may not, but is this baseball? And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck. I'm not really a baseball dude. I'm more of a football, basketball guy, but I respect baseball. But it's really just to really pull something out of my shelf that really speaks to, well, I should say that will help us start off this journey of the shelf with what I'm about to share about myself. But really, it's not about myself, it's about all of us. I used to direct a program in Upper Manhattan, and it was to help provide high school students with service hours. And one of the things I would do was invite a guest, and I invited a guest from an organization which I am so sorry I'm forgetting right now, but I'll never forget the image that this person started with this conversation, which I want to get into. And that is, he pulled up the stadium, Yankee Stadium in New York, New York City, because this wasn't for high school students that were coming from the Washington Heights neighborhoods. Shout out to the Heights. And he had an image of Yankee Stadium, and he said that every single day, New York City throws enough garbage to fill up Yankee Stadium from top to bottom and sideways 3 times. Family, what is Mother Earth telling us? Some people have been talking about in China, the air quality has been kind of nice lately. I don't know if that has to do with possibly there being less driving, and maybe factories are in a halt right now, so the amount of exhaust has de-escalated a lot. I mentioned this before in previous podcasts, but this whole idea of what is essential and non-essential kind of makes me wonder if that's the same thing Mother Nature is saying. What is essential and what is non-essential right now and moving forward? That's real. That's no disrespect to nobody who got laid off or whatever. We all feeling it. This is all of us, family, right now. This is just straight up something coming out of my shelf that really is actually coming from a lot of shelves, as people have really been reflecting on this. And I'm saying this because again, Aries season, and one thing about the month of April, Earth Day falls around this time. And I'm not alone. Even the Pope, this spiritual leader that a lot of people follow, he addressed the issue of what we're doing to Mother Earth. It's very deep. It's very real. I think about movies like Avatar, the interconnectedness that exists, right, in our world, in our planet, right, in our habitats. And I have to remind everybody, like, the coronavirus, that's not something that came from outer space. That's something that comes from the ecosystem, Mother Earth. It comes from us. It comes from here. It comes from the very same place that we walk, breathe, eat, and talk. So it's very interesting to me because it was created here in the same way tornadoes, hurricanes, and if you ever experience, I never have, earthquakes, Mother Earth is constantly talking to us, guys, regulating us. And it's not just Mother Nature, it's us telling us too. Meaning, do we remember Standing Rock? The protests that were happening there because of fracking? That's what happens when you're literally tapping into Mother Earth, disrespecting her, not even asking permission. Like, that's real. That's spiritual, real stuff that I'm talking about. And what about the continuing high levels of the sea continue to rise, I think within 20 years, Miami's not going to exist. And I got a lot of family and friends in Miami, but that's real. And the mayor knows it. And I can talk about a lot of other cities, even New York, right? Real serious talk, family. I don't want to scare nobody, but the reality is that what I'm saying is, again, what is Mother Nature telling us? And more importantly, what are you going to say and or do when we get out of this? And we will get out of this. To close us, I want to close us with this quote by the very, people that have been kind of telling us to go and talk to Mother Nature, and that is our indigenous people. So this is an indigenous proverb, and it reads as such. We don't inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. Peace, family.